You are a parent of a child who is likely between the ages of 0 and 8 years old, and I am a sleep expert who helps families with children in that age range. And a lot of the times my content is about nap schedules and toddler bed transitions and false starts, right? You name it. But why is sleep important to you? So often as parents, we put ourselves on the back burner. We don't take care of our own needs and we don't consider them because we are very busy and attentive at taking care of these little tiny humans who we created. But I don't want you to discredit the importance of sleep for you and your mental health and your functioning as a parent and your life as it relates to you in taking care of your kids. So let's talk about what the importance of sleep is for you as mom or dad. Hi, my name is Sarah, and as the owner and one of the certified pediatric sleep experts at Yours and Baby Sleep, I help parents get their kids' sleep on track, truly, because I want your sleep to be on track. That's my whole goal. That was my mission when I started my company, was to make sure I was empowering and supporting parents during a very vulnerable time, because sleep helped me show up and be a better mom, and I want to help other people show up in that same way that is sustainable and aligned with your family's values. I'm really happy that you found this YouTube channel, and I'm excited to talk to you all about your healthy sleep habits. Let's start off with talking about a couple areas of your life that may be impacted by sleep. Number 1, your personal life. Number 2, your relationships. Number 3, your job. And number 4, as a parent. I want you to turn the clocks backwards before you had kids, right? BK, before kids. And I want you to remember what your life was like personally. Okay, so we're gonna focus on the personal. Did you used to enjoy working out? Did you enjoy being able to binge watch Netflix? Did you enjoy being able to read a book? Getting up early, maybe going to bed late, right? All of us have different preferences and different things that drive us and motivate us kind of just to get through our day sometimes, or that really were a necessary part of our self-care. When I talk about self-care, I feel like this can be so polarizing. When you think of self-care as a mom, and I do this too, I don't have time for that. I have no time for self-care. I've got to take care of the kids. I've got to work. I've got to, like, when do I fit in that pocket of time? I'm not even necessarily talking about that, but self-care is important too. I think that we need to make sure that we are also acknowledging that. And it doesn't mean like, oh, pre-kid life, I used to be able to shower. That's hygiene. Like, that's basic needs of your life. I don't mean like basic hygiene. I mean like, what did you do day in and day out that kept you moving? Now, after you've reflected before kids, BK, what I want you to think about now, what are you not able to do because your kids aren't sleeping? What are you not able to do because your kids aren't sleeping, which means that you're not sleeping, and therefore you don't have the energy or even the time to put into getting back to the gym, staying up late to watch a show because you don't know what time your baby's going to wake up in the middle of the night, getting up early before your kids to take care of maybe some journaling, meditation, or some prayer time. So all of these things are being affected because your kid's not sleeping and therefore you're not sleeping. And now the rhetorical question I'm going to leave you with is, how is that affecting your quality of life? Even though you love these children with all your heart, with more than anything you can ever describe, what's your quality of life like? Did you always picture it to be this way in the season that you're in? Okay, BK times, we're going before kids again. What was your relationship like? So if you have chosen to have children with a partner, and this is the same partner who you were with before your children came to be, what was your relationship like with that partner? What excited you about it? Was it the intimate one-on-one time that you used to be able to have whenever you would like to? Was it date nights? Was it staying up late together? Or maybe, I don't know, this was definitely not me, but maybe you guys got up and ran a mile every morning nice and early before you went to work. And there's no judgment for that. But whatever it was, I want you to reflect on what your relationship was like. And knowing that our relationships change and evolve every time we go through different seasons in life. So children are going to put a different stress on our relationship, emotionally, physically, financially, right? It's a big adjustment for us to be able to prioritize the two of us as a partnership, as a team, when our kids come into the picture. And that's okay. That's the whole beauty and joy of growing together in a partnership or in a marriage. However, are you starting to become resentful because your partner is sleeping through the night and you're not? And you've taken a big load of nighttime wake-ups or early mornings or managing their naps all day long? Are you becoming resentful because you don't have time to spend with each other? Maybe you're not even sleeping in the same bed anymore because you've fallen into co-sleeping and maybe that wasn't part of your plan. And there are periods of time in our lives where this is appropriate. There's seasons where this is just what it is and we need to survive. But we don't need to survive forever. You can have a healthy marriage and you can expect that you can maintain and nurture and grow your relationship, maybe a little slower than you were BK, but you can maintain it. And if you're realizing that sleep is one of the reasons why you're not able to maintain it because you don't have the energy, there is too much resentment, or you're just plain old exhausted, what does that mean for you? And what I want you to think of now is like what you pictured what it would be like before kids were around, right? It never ends up working out to be that dream picture. But now that kids are in the scenario, how do you picture your life going forward? What do you want out of the quality of your relationship with your partner? And how does sleep impact that in being achievable? This one might be not so exciting or very exciting for you depending on how you value your job or your career. So if you have a job or a career and you're working outside of the home, this is something that you've probably put a lot of hours into education, a lot of years into growing this career. It's something that's very important to you. Maybe you have to work because you're in a two-income household. Maybe you're the breadwinner, right? Everybody has a different financial situation and reason why they go out to work. Maybe this was your life passion, right? You're passionate about I've always wanted to be a lawyer advocating for children with special needs, right? Like maybe that is what you've always wanted to do. Whatever reason you have, how is your sleep affecting your ability to show up at your job? And let's take two different roads here, right? I'm gonna use extremes because that helps relate to most people. If there's one extreme of like, I have to work because I have to. Like I'm not in love with my job. It's just something that I have to go to. What my main focus is my kids and I have to do my job. And I have to do my job because I have to pay the bills. Well, what happens if you don't really love your job? If obviously you love being at home more, but it's because of financial reasons that you have to go to work every day? What's the deal if you're sleep deprived and not performing up to expectations? What happens when you're up every 2 hours in the middle of the night and then have to get up and go and send the kids to daycare and be on at work, whatever on means for you, and your work starts to slack and your boss realizes that, and then God forbid, this is worst case scenario, what happens if you lose the job because of your work performance, because you're sleep deprived? And then there's like the total opposite side of the coin. I love my career. I love getting out of the house. I love that somebody else who loves my kids is taking care of them and I get to fulfill myself by working and providing for my family. But I cannot connect with that work anymore because my brain is so clouded, because I'm so exhausted, because I was up 4 times last night, right? And this has been going on for 2 years, 3 years. This is another side of that. What I want you to think about is BK, before kids, what was your goal with your career or your job or the way that you bring in money and contribute to your family financially? And how has your lack of sleep started to affect that? And what quality would you like in a work-life balance now that you are a working mom? Last, but certainly not least, sleep and parenthood. This is not BK, this is not before kids. This is how maybe you envisioned what your life would look like as a parent, or your goals as a parent. What type of parent do you want to be? How do you want to show up? What are your parenting philosophies? What are your philosophies on behavior support? How do you want to teach your kids to do X, Y, and Z? There's so much in parenthood. And I know that if I can get personal for a minute, I was not showing up as the best mom that I could be when I was extremely sleep deprived. I was showing up resentful. I was showing up wondering why I signed up for this. knowing that I obviously were no returns, right? There were no return receipts that I could cash in on. And it was really hard to say like, wow, this is the mom I am. And I didn't ever think that I would be in this state or be this person. I thought I was going to be more present. I thought I was going to be more patient. I thought that I was going to have more energy to interact and play and, provide lots of education, whatever. I mean, stuff that probably our kids don't really need, but what was happening was definitely very, very different than the picture that I had envisioned. So I had an epiphany when I was about 4 or 5 months postpartum with my oldest that the biggest trigger for my mental health and the biggest trigger for me being able to not show up as the best mother that I could be was my sleep. And like, interestingly enough, I want you to think about this in relationship to your partner. My partner, my husband, he didn't really need a lot of sleep. He still doesn't. He never did. His sleep needs are definitely much lower than mine. So he didn't really even understand what I was going through in terms of that, because he was like, whatever, 5 hours of sleep is like no big deal. Where 5 hours of sleep was not enough, even if it was straight, and 8 hours of completely broken sleep was putting me over the edge. So I wasn't able to show up and be the parent that I really wanted to be because my kid wasn't sleeping. Because my kid wasn't sleeping, I wasn't sleeping. So my question again, rhetorically to you, is how do you want to show up in parenthood? Are you showing up like that right now? And if you're not, is it directly correlated to the fact that you're not sleeping well? I know I come on here often and I'm on my Instagram page and I'm on my website and I'm constantly talking about why sleep is important for your children. But I want to bring it full circle again and remind you that sleep is important to you. I want to empower you. I want you to feel like in your gut, I want you to feel empowered that it is not selfish to choose sleep. Sleep deprivation does happen for a certain period of time. There is a very appropriate period of time when your babies are really tiny and really little and do need you throughout the night, where it's okay to be experiencing sleep deprivation. That's just part of the game. However, it doesn't have to be the norm as you continue to watch your children grow for many months or many years at a time. It's okay to choose sleep as a priority for your family. It's okay to prioritize that for your own physical and mental health. And it means that when you're putting your oxygen mask on first, that you're going to be better able to put your child's oxygen mask on. It's worth mentioning again that the mission, the whole foundation of my business was to reach parents and was to help parents and support them through this really vulnerable journey of sleep. And if this is something that you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize how much I needed it. I've just been in like zombie mode, autopilot, like I just was going through the motions and the next thing I knew, I haven't slept through the night in a year. Does that resonate with you? Press the like button just so I know. And I would really like to direct my content in this direction so that you can feel like you're seen. You can feel like you are heard, and it's okay to go and get the sleep that you need. Tell me how you're doing that in the comments below. I love interacting with everyone here on my channel, and subscribe and see if I do post some new content about this. I'm really excited. This is the first piece of sleep content that I've published that is like really focused on parents and not so focused on the kids, and it feels really good and it feels empowering to me. So subscribe so that you can be updated, of course, on my baby and toddler sleep content, but also be the first to know when I publish things that are directly speaking to you. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.